What's up, everybody? Charlie Marlow here. We are live on the Charlie Marlow YouTube channel and also podcasted on Kenny Wallace Media. We're going to talk a lot of sports today, all over the map. We'll start with college football, week 3. I'm always honest with you guys with what I watch and what I don't watch. I'm an Ohio State fan. I say that each and every week. The Buckeyes, though, we're playing Ohio, the Bobcats. That's just not a game I'm interested in, just being honest with you. We'll get to that in a second. But I want to start with the one game I did watch, and it was just the fourth quarter and overtime. But, man, there was a lot of action packed in that period of football. We're talking Georgia versus Tennessee. Georgia wins 44-41 at Tennessee in overtime. Tennessee with a chance to win it at the end, fourth quarter, kicker, field goal, no good. You thought Georgia was done. Unbelievable atmosphere in this game. Georgia had what? I'll bring it up, the play-by-play. Georgia had something like a 4th and ball game, 4th and 6 at the end there. Here, I'll find it for you. Georgia's touchdown. Basically, this is a drive starting with 6:40 to go in the fourth quarter. Okay, so you got 4th and 6, 2 minutes and 32 seconds left in the ball game. 4th and 6 at the Tennessee 28-yard line. So basically, all that Tennessee has to do is get a stop here. Tennessee gets a stop. They essentially win the ball game. At this point, it is 38-30 Tennessee. 28-yard touchdown pass. Gunnar Stockton to London Humphreys. You probably saw there, back right corner of the end zone. Beautiful throw, beautiful catch. 2-point conversion, good to Zachariah Branch. 38 all, boom, and we're going to overtime. But before overtime, so about 2.5 minutes left in the game, Tennessee with the ball. This was not an easy kick by any means. Max Gilbert, 43-yard field goal, missed. Remember, this is coming right after a false start, pushes him back 5 yards. So it would have been 38-yard field goal. Max Gilbert, 43-yard field goal, missed. The second you saw that ball, you're just thinking, okay, Georgia didn't feel like they deserved to win this game. It's going to go to overtime. Georgia's going to win the game. And that's exactly what happened there. Tennessee kicks a field goal in overtime. Georgia gets the ball. Boom. Nice run. Nate Frazier, 21 yards. And then you have the 1-yard touchdown run, Josh McCray. Bing, bang, boom. Georgia beats Tennessee. The stadium looked awesome. 44-41. You thought maybe this is Tennessee's year versus Georgia. To me, Georgia, Kirby Smart, one of those teams, they're just hard to kill. Hard to kill. The game that comes to mind for me, Ohio State fan, go back about, 3 years now? 2022, it was the national championship game semifinals, so college football playoff semifinals. Remember that game? You had Ohio State beating Georgia, had them beat that whole game. Remember Marvin Harrison Jr. gets knocked out with a concussion late in the game. Ohio State has a field goal try. I think it was something right around 50 yards, whatever it is. That ball wasn't even close. And Georgia holds on. Georgia beats Ohio State. Georgia goes on to absolutely just destroy TCU. What was that score? 65-7, something crazy like that, and win the national championship. So I give Georgia all the respect in the world. By the way, there was another game during that run. So either 22 or 23, correct me if I'm wrong, where Mizzou, I'm watching this game, Mizzou had Georgia beat, you thought, the whole game. Mizzou was up 10 points, 13, whatever it was. It never got to be over 2 touchdowns, but Mizzou was up, I think, 10 or something like that. And just Georgia hung around just enough to win that game. You got to give Kirby Smart all the credit in the world. You got to beat them. You have to beat Georgia. And a win against Georgia is very impressive. So it didn't happen for Tennessee and the Volunteers. Thought it might. No dice. Maybe it's next year for Tennessee. Georgia moves on. Georgia 3-0. They're now ranked 6th in the country. Tennessee falls to 2-1. They drop to 15th in the country. Okay. Let's kind of jump around a little bit. College football. We're going to talk some NFL. We're going to talk some baseball. We're going to talk Robert Redford, RIP. We're going to talk about Jose Canseco and Mark McGuire. The Bash brothers are back. But just real quick, I only bring this up because I was tweeting with my buddy, Cole Bartemus, about Notre Dame. And people were joking about, is Notre Dame the only team that could be 0-2, have no wins, and they're still ranked in the top 25? Notre Dame 0-2. They dropped 16 spots. They're number 24 in the AP poll. Notre Dame dropped 13 spots. They are 21 in the coaches poll. And you know what? I really don't have a problem with this. I really don't. Because at the time, you lose at Miami, true road game, on a last-second field goal, whatever it was. You lose 27-24 at Miami. Miami ranked 10th at the time. 3-point game. And then you lose to Texas A&M by 1 point, 41-40. Texas A&M at the time ranked 16th. So I joke, and I've done a video on this channel about how Notre Dame is always overrated. Now, if they're any other team, are they still ranked in the top 25? If they're not a brand like Notre Dame or someone else. Notre Dame's not the only brand that gets overrated. For years, we saw Texas was always overrated, in my opinion, at the beginning of the year because of their brand. Texas is good now, although we should probably talk more about Arch Manning. Maybe we'll do that next week. But my point is, this doesn't bother me at all. If you're Notre Dame, you've lost a 3-point true road game at number 4 Miami. Miami's ranked number 4 in the AP poll. Miami is ranked number 6 in the coaches poll. And you lost a 1-point game versus 3-0 Texas A&M. Texas A&M ranked 10th in the AP poll. Texas A&M ranked 10th in the coaches poll. So it's fair. Notre Dame, also, they're coming off a runner-up finish in the college football playoff. Notre Dame is legit. Very, very tough opening couple week schedule for the Fighting Irish. I appreciate you guys watching here. We do have a viewer live. This is a new channel. We're trying to grow the channel, but all my fantastic friends on the Kenny Wallace Media podcast will hopefully be enjoying this as well. One more thing about college football. Just because I said I checked in on the Buckeyes, and I just have no interest in watching them play Ohio. Although Ohio was right there in terms of covering the spread. I saw it was like 29.5. I don't know if it ended at 27.5. Whatever number you got, it was very close. Ohio State won by 28 points. So Buckeyes 3-0. They're ranked number 1 in the country, obviously. But I do want to give some credit to the Ohio University Bobcats. Got a lot of friends that went to Ohio U. Great broadcasting school. Mike Schmidt went to Ohio U. And I only bring this up because I saw that spread, and I was like, dang, Ohio State is only favored by about 29.5, whatever the number ended up being, against Ohio U. But then I went and looked at Ohio U's schedule. Give them credit, man. Look at the Ohio U, the Bobcats, out of the MAC, the Mid-American Conference. Their first 3 games of the season, they're 2-1. They lost by only 3 points at Rutgers, a Big Ten opponent. They beat West Virginia. West Virginia 17-10. They beat West Virginia. Ohio U beat West Virginia 17-10. Obviously taking down a Big 12 opponent. And then you get smoked by Ohio State, but still you keep it right around the spread, 37-9. So look, I have a lot of respect for a school like Ohio U. And I grew up right there in the heart of the MAC. I grew up in Toledo, going to Toledo Rockets basketball, football games at the Glass Bowl. My dad and my brother both went to Bowling Green State University. Shout out Eddie George, now the head football coach at Bowling Green, BG, which is awesome. So what I'm saying is I grew up watching MAC games. Toledo, BG, going up to Cobo Hall, Detroit for the basketball tournament, watching all kinds of football games. I got a lot of love for the Maction. Thursday night, random weird games. Wednesday, Tuesday, gambling over the years. Ben Roethlisberger for Miami of Ohio. The list goes on and on and on. Shout out Ohio U, though, for their early season schedule, going 2-1, beating West Virginia, losing by only 3 at Rutgers, and basically keeping it right there and covering against the number 1 team in the land, Ohio State, in Columbus. That's pretty impressive. All right. If you are watching live, jump in on the chat. So there you go, our college football talk. Let me take a drink of water real quick. That's like my Kenny Wallace coffee with Kenny pause. Okay. So we did about 10 minutes on college football, NFL. And I want to hear from you guys too in the comments. It bothers me, but I just got no love for the NFL. And I'm going to blame St. Louis. I'm going to blame the Rams. I play fantasy football. I'm interested from that standpoint. I'll be interested when the playoffs start. Of course, I'll watch the AFC, NFC championship games. I'll watch the Super Bowl. But it's one of those things. I just think it's really hard when you're older to become a fan of a new team. To me, it's impossible, right? Like, you can't manufacture that. That's why the reason I'm an Ohio State football fan, yeah, they're really good, but I've been a fan since I was a kid. And they've always been good. They kept me interested. Not going to lie. I started off more so a fan of Ohio State basketball back in the day. 91, 92, Jimmy Jackson playing against Michigan and the Fab Five. And just kind of over the years, I kind of fell out of the fandom with basketball, even though the team has been really good. Not as great lately, but I mean, those years with Thad Matta and Greg Oden, they were really, really good. But maybe it's also you have kids, you're busy, you can't follow as much sports. I've stuck an Ohio State football fan. You know, I was a big Detroit Pistons fan. One of my favorite teams of all time, 2004 Pistons. They win the NBA championship. I had just graduated college that whole summer back home in Ohio, real close to Detroit, about an hour from Detroit, watching all those playoff games at the bars with my buddies. But then also, maybe this is me being a bandwagon fan. I feel like after that, the Pistons kind of fell off. LeBron took over. I moved to St. Louis, not an NBA city, on sports talk radio. Not a lot of talk about the NBA, and I kind of lost my fandom for the NBA. But we had the Rams here. I loved covering the Rams. Got to cover the Lions for a couple years when I was working in Lansing. Even though the Lions sucked, one of the years they were 7-9, pretty good with John Kitna. Whatever year that was. I believe that was 06. Check me on that. 06 or 07. Got to St. Louis. Rams sucked. Scott Linehan, Steve Spagnuolo. Finally, Jeff Fisher comes here. They're decent. They're around 500. The team's trying to leave. The Rams leave. We have no team. I was never an NFL fan growing up. I was kind of stuck there in Toledo. I had some family members who were Cleveland Browns fans. The Browns leave. It was fun watching Barry Sanders and the Lions. But again, I was always more of a college football fan. So it stinks. Like, I watch people getting excited about the NFL. It's fun to go to bars. In college, post-college, I used to love to go up to Chicago with my buddies and watch Bears games and go to the bars and just freaking drink all Sunday, all the way from the noon game to Sunday Night Football and hang out. Loved those experiences, but I don't have an NFL team, and I just don't care. And it stinks. Maybe I need to gamble more. Maybe I need to gamble more to get me interested. Okay. By the way, while I'm bringing this picture up, St. Louis, please support my St. Louis area sponsors, Triad Bank. Triad Bank, best thing I ever did for my rental property business, taking all my commercial loans from a big national bank that didn't care about me to a local bank, Triad Bank. Hit up my guy, Matthew Tobin. I got like 3 loans with Triad Bank, got a line of credit off the house where I was able to reinvest that into the rental property business. It is relationship-based banking. Best decision I ever made. I can't recommend Triad Bank enough. I go to the location over there in Frontenac. They also have one in Creve Coeur. Okay, I got to show this picture for people watching on YouTube. And for people who are on podcasts, I'll explain it. You got a picture of Jose Canseco and Mark McGuire in their green jackets doing the Bash Brothers pose. And I saw this, man, and it brought back so many freaking memories for me. And I tweeted it out, and here's what I wrote. I said, these dudes got me into baseball. My family, they were all Tigers fans, but the A's were too cool for a kid to ignore in the late 80s. And that is so true. Jose Canseco, Mark McGwire, before you knew anything about steroids and all that. I was born in 82. And again, my family were Tigers fans. Tigers won it all in 84. I was 2. Don't remember. Tigers were great in 87. Tigers were pretty good in 88. But I remember having the Panini sticker book, the baseball cards. You had Jose Canseco Rookie of the Year in 86. McGwire Rookie of the Year in 87. McGwire hits 49 bombs. 88 is the 40-40 year for Jose Canseco. They lose to the Dodgers, obviously, with Kirk Gibson in the World Series. 89, they win the World Series against San Francisco, the Giants, and, of course, the Earthquake World Series. 1990, they're facing Marge Schott and the Reds. They get swept by the Reds. A lot of people surprised about that. Even 91, going back to the Tigers, that was the Cecil Fielder versus Jose Canseco home run race, I believe. I think Cecil finished with 51, maybe Canseco 44. Don't quote me on that. But I was tweeting this out, and some people said, man, as a kid, the posters you'd get at the book fair, and this was the poster they're talking about. Iconic. Again, for people listening on podcasts, that iconic Bash Brothers, they're sitting on the car like the Blues Brothers. They got their suits on. They got their hats like the Blues Brothers. They got the big bats. They got the sunglasses, and it just says the Bash Brothers. That was so badass back in the day. We all had that poster or the baseball cards, whatever it is. And then I can't remember the timeline. I interviewed Mark McGwire a lot when he was the hitting coach of the Cardinals. But obviously when the book came out from Canseco, Juiced, and then Vindicated, he threw everybody under the bus about steroids and Mark McGwire, and I'm sure there was bad blood. I don't remember. This was, 15, 17 years ago. I don't remember everything that happened. I'm sure they were all mad back then. Canseco proved to be accurate, let's be honest. They were all juiced, and they were all probably shooting each other up. And I'm not saying that was all good, but, man, the memories were great. And I'm the type of person where time heals all wounds. So for me, my favorite player was Jose Canseco. My favorite number is 33 because of Jose Canseco. If you went back to my parents' house, you would find books full of Canseco baseball cards. I had every freaking Canseco baseball card. If he was on the cover of a magazine, I had that magazine, posters on the wall. Canseco was my guy. So this brought me back, man, to when I was like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. To see that picture, they both look good. They both look healthy. They both look happy. Let's let bygones be bygones. You know, I'm not going to have the debate about the Hall of Fame and all that, but just that brought back memories for me as a kid who just loved Canseco, loved the A's, and loved the Bash Brothers because they were so freaking cool. Ricky Henderson with the batting gloves, with the fluorescent batting gloves. And again, I grew up an hour from Detroit. Tigers weren't very good when I was a kid, but again, it was hard to ignore the Oakland A's. For people that don't know, for younger people that weren't around, how cool the freaking A's were back then. Again, Ricky Henderson, Dave Henderson, Jose Canseco, Mark McGwire, Carney Lansford, Walt Weiss won the Rookie of the Year, won 88. You had Dave Stewart, intimidating starting pitcher. You had Bob Welch, won 27 games. You had Dennis Eckersley, the first real amazing closer where Tony La Russa kind of changed the game in terms of how he set up his bullpen and all that. The A's were a freaking juggernaut, man. Won one World Series, probably should have won more, but god darn, that picture brought back memories for me. Okay. Some sad news. We're just bouncing all around. Robert Redford passes away today at the age of, 89 years old. Born in Santa Monica, California, August 18th, 1936, dies in Sundance, Utah. The Sundance Kid, Bush Cassidy and the Sundance Kid star, dies in Sundance, Utah at the age of 89. So because we're talking sports, obviously the first one that jumps out is Roy Hobbs in The Natural. Just iconic sports movie, iconic baseball movie. Robert Redford's one of those guys too, where for me, I got to kind of go through his movie roles and kind of remember. There were so many good ones. I mean, it started out way before my time. I'm going to try to find a list. We got to find a list of all of his movies. That would be easiest for me. All right, let's just go. We'll go to the top of Wikipedia. We got what? Started in TV, Twilight Zone. Okay, movie roles that they list early on. The Way We Were, 3 Days of the Condor, All the President's Men. That was about Watergate. I've never seen that movie, and I should. I absolutely should. The Electric Horseman, Brubaker. The Natural was 1984, 2 years after I was born. Iconic sports movie. Roy Hobbs hitting the cover off the ball. Out of Africa. Sneakers, All Is Lost. Truth, Our Souls at Night. The Old Man and the Gun. He was in Avengers Endgame 2019. I did not know that. He was in Quiz Show. I don't remember him being in Quiz Show. The Legend of Bagger Vance. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I remember that one. That's a great movie. Let me just go to Robert Redford movies list. That'll be easier. I thought that would be on Wikipedia. Robert Redford filmography. Okay. I'll just read off kind of some of the big ones. I'm sure I'm missing some of these. Because look, I mean, his first movie, 1960, Tall Story. 1960 is his first freaking movie. Okay. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. He was the Sundance Kid. That was 1969. The Sting, 1973. The Great Gatsby, 1974. I believe I've seen that. I think so. The Natural was 1984. I'm trying to think of ones I've seen. Oh, Indecent Proposal, 1993. Remember that? That was Woody Harrelson, Demi Moore. They Need Money. And Robert Redford sleeps with Demi Moore for $1 million. And That Crazy Story. That was a good movie. That came out in 1993. I saw that one. I feel like I watched The Horse Whisperer, Up Close and Personal. Let's see. I feel like I maybe saw that. Up Close and Personal. What else we got? We got, now we're getting into the 2000s. I feel like I didn't really see any of his movies in the 2000s. But the 90s movies for me, Indecent Proposal, I guess that was it. A lot of his great ones were in the 70s. So there you go. What's your favorite Robert Redford movie? The first one that jumps out for me is The Natural. I forgot about Indecent Proposal. And some of these older ones, I got to watch them. I mean, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid is great. I haven't watched that in a while. I'm pretty sure I saw the version of The Great Gatsby with Robert Redford. And then I got to watch All the President's Men for sure. That's on me. All right. Thoughts on Robert Redford? Drop him in the comments. Okay. Also want to mention real quick, another one of my St. Louis area sponsors, St. Louis Lawn Care, St. Louis Equipment. I actually waited to do this live stream, this podcast, because they're out there doing aeration and overseeding of my yard. And because the machines were going kind of loud, which is all good, I waited till the noise dissipated to do this podcast. But St. Louis Lawn Care for all your lawn care needs. They've been cutting my grass for about 3-4 years. They do mulch, mosquito and bug control. They do any type of landscaping. They planted a bunch of boxwoods. They planted, a big juniper, some arborvitae for me. And then also St. Louis Equipment. Let me bring up this email real quick. They'll fix your mower. You can buy a new mower there. I've gotten small engine stuff, a Crest battery-operated trimmer, although they don't carry Crest products anymore. I got a Husqvarna blower. I'm going to go there and get I'm going to get a battery-operated blower coming up. They just have a brand new location, by the way, in DeSoto, Missouri. So for the fall, okay, blowers, they got Red Max brand, Steel, Echo, and Husqvarna. As winter comes here, I'll tell you early, all their snow products, bulk salt, bagged salt, snow plows, salt spreaders, get them early before it's cold and it snows, and they can have bulk salt delivered to you. So you have your own salt when the time comes. St. Louis Lawn Care, aeration and overseeding. They just did it about an hour ago. This service was performed today. Be sure to keep the seed moist until it germinates. Ideally, water for 10 minutes twice a day for best results. If you cannot water twice per day, once per day will be fine. Just make sure the ground is moist for that seed to germinate. The seed can take 4 to 5 weeks to fully germinate. You can email them, office@stlawncare.com. Give them a call, 314-974-5911. Bing, bang, boom. Hey, thank you to one person for still watching. I was almost done anyway. One final thing. Quick story. I got a dumpster over the weekend, okay? Dumpster, big one. We were getting some new furniture. I filled this thing up and I'll put a picture up here, 2, 3, 4 feet over the line. We had so many baby toys, so many vehicles. My kids are 7 and 4. I couldn't believe how much stuff that I had just in the basement, in the storage room. I worked all day Saturday, all day Sunday, filling this thing up. My buddy came over Sunday to help me move the big stuff. It was already full. So now I have another dumpster coming. The dumpster company said, look, we're not going to take that. It's a safety hazard. Big pieces of furniture be falling on people in the street. So I got another dumpster coming to put next to the dumpster. I have to get in the dumpster on top and move all of the overflow into the other dumpster. So I've been dumpstering, dumpster diving. And so here's what I'm going to tell you. First of all, getting a dumpster every couple of years, best thing you'll ever do. By the way, should I donate it all to Goodwill and take everything? And yes, I should. But sometimes you just got to purge, man. And this weekend, it was just straight up purge. But get a dumpster every couple of years. Clear out all these things. You won't trip over toys. Give them away to Goodwill, whatever it is. You'll have less anxiety with less stuff in your house. It's absolutely the thing to do. But again, it's better if you want to just, Goodwill. Don't do what I'm doing is what I'm trying to say. Do it every month. Every month, take a bag. Take a bag to Goodwill. Every month, take a bag to a dumpster. Don't make it where after a couple years, you have to get 2 freaking dumpsters to get everything out of your house. But man, when this is done, I'm just going to feel so much better about how everything is. My house is clean and empty, and feng shui and being a minimalist, that's what I'm all about. All right, there you go. We're talking college football, NFL, Bash Brothers, Robert Redford, bing, bang, boom. We'll end the live stream. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe. Kenny Wallace Media, appreciate you. Charlie Marlow on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Check out the videos. A lot of college football. I love you all. Please support Triad Bank, St. Louis Lawn Care, St. Louis Equipment. Peace out, everybody. See ya. End stream.